Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to Friday's live surgery with AP Foundation. Thank you for joining. If you just bear with me a minute, I'm just waiting for everyone to come on and join us so we can have our Friday session. Today is Women Takeover. We're going to be interviewing some women about their experience in mentoring. And we're going to bring in some powerful women that have worked with us and work in different companies and just share their experience of working with young people and how they got into the business. Good morning, guys.
Hiya.
Hiya, good morning. Can you see me all right?
Yeah.
How you doing? My name's Vicky. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm Taylor.
Hi, Taylor. So I've heard loads about you and I've been really excited to talk to you actually because you specialise in mentoring, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
How long have you done it for?
So it's coming up to about, I'd say about 2-3 years now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How did you get into it?
So basically, I come from like a background where I've been in certain situations. So once I got out of that kind of environment, I always thought to myself, like, I wouldn't want another girl to go through that and things like that. So I've always had in my head that I kind of want to give back in some sort of way. So
you wanted to make that difference.
Exactly.
So you come from a background that was challenging anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
Crime as well, I suppose.
Yeah, from family crime, and then
so you've got life experience.
Exactly.
And that's what I keep trying to explain every week when we speak. It's not really about an education or a degree or what college you went to. It's about that life hands-on experience.
Exactly.
And do you enjoy your job?
Oh yeah, I love it. I find it so rewarding.
What are your daily challenges normally?
In a sense of my work?
Yeah.
I would say trying to break down that wall, break down that barrier.
Yeah.
I understand the wall and the barrier, but it's just like, it's a new world. Like, it's a new world now. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, okay, yeah, I understand. And how do you think lockdowns affected your job with the people you work with?
It's affected it massively.
Yeah.
In the sense of not having that face-to-face communication. I mean, it's all well doing FaceTiming and things like that, but the girls need to see you. They need to see.
They need that hands-on support, don't they?
Exactly. I mean,
and I think when this is over, you're going to have such a big job on your hands as well, aren't you?
Yeah, like, so I feel like what I've had to do to kind of deal with it is make sure I have that daily communication with them to let them know that I'm here for them and things like that.
And they're not alone.
Exactly. I mean, you can't just have that an hour conversation. I don't think it works like that, like 1 hour a week. I generally do believe that you have to constantly...
You've got to create that bond, haven't you?
Exactly.
I'm just going to bring DBA Projects on with us as well, because I know that you work close with Dan, don't you?
Yeah, very close.
So I'm just going to invite him into the chat as well. He should be joining us any second. Yeah, and I just think... Hi, Dan.
Good morning, good afternoon.
How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Yourself?
You like the new merchandise I'm rocking?
I see that. Andy's flossing now the clothing line. Here we go.
Yeah, he's got me promoting. I've just ordered some hoodies. I'm going to go for a full-on outfit next week. So, Dan, we had to bring you with a girl takeover because your hair is longer than ours.
Yeah.
He does us with the hair. We had to bring him on.
Yeah, you good, Taylor?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, Daniel.
Good to see you.
So we were just talking to Taylor about, her experiences, and I was saying you work closely together, right?
Yes, yeah. So Taylor's one of our mentors, and she obviously works with the DBA Project and crossing over to the AP Mixed Foundation and everything. And she's just doing a great job out there. We've had her for the last, about a year she's been with us, and she's been out there working now for about 8 months. Amazing. And I think it's just really important for her and her partner in crime, who's going to be coming on in a second, Cheyenne, to come and talk about what they've been doing and their experiences of being a mentor, but also their experiences of seeing the female side of everything. Because I think a lot of the talk that when we're talking about young people and criminal activity and county lines, everybody's drive and focus is always the young boys. And the reality is we've got a lot of issues that are going on with the young girls as well. And I think it's just good for us today just to, you know, sit down and just talk about some of the experiences and some of the work that these guys are trying to do and create out there, because it marries up with everything we're trying to do and the drive that we're on.
Dan, do you think we have enough girl mentors out there?
No.
Nor do I. Taylor, what do you think?
Definitely not.
And I don't think a lot of women know how to get into the industry as easy. I think there's a blockage there on introduce. You see adverts on telly for teachers, police women. You don't see advertisement for mentors or that support. And I feel like we're that bridge before them people. And I feel like that really needs to be advertised and be put out there. We need more mentors on our side.
100%.
But people need to know where to start. Where did you start, Taylor? Where did you start? How did you start?
Well, to be fair, I was always speaking about it with one of my friends called Cheyenne, who's going to jump on in a minute. And she kind of actually just put me in touch with certain organisations. And also my mum, she is a social worker and a mental health worker, so she knows certain organisations as well. So it kind of just fell into my lap. I mean, if I didn't have certain people around me, I never would have known about mentoring.
Mm-hmm. So that the knowledge around you is what got you into it, really.
Exactly, literally word of mouth. Otherwise,
and that's what we want to be doing here every Friday on the Insta Live, because I just think we've got courses. We're all working together now to produce courses, credit courses, to help people get into the industry.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people even watching now thinking, how can I do it? And that's what we're here for. We want to be able to show you that we're going to be able to give you courses that are going to be available to get you in the start into the industry, to get that mentoring on the way. Dan, would you like me to try and add our next?
Yeah, Cheyenne's there. Is she there?
Is she there? Let's have a look for her. Cheyenne's good. Everyone's Instagram's name's so jazzy.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like when X dash underline.
Yeah, oh, there
Hi.
she is.
Hi.
How you doing? I'm Vicky. Nice to meet you.
I'm Cheyenne. Nice
Hi,
to meet
Cheyenne.
you.
Welcome to Friday's live Friday surgery. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
I'm so glad to have some girls with me today. I'm on my own with the boys every week, so this is amazing. Cheyenne, could you tell us how you got into mentoring on your industry?
So I used to work with Dan in a primary school. They had an organisation and they used to do quite a lot of outreach work. Dan knows like my background and stuff like that of where I've come from, so he always said, you know what, Cheyenne, you'd be great to be a mentor. And then from then I've started doing outreach work. I now work in children's homes and I'm in supported accommodation, so I'm a manager at supported accommodation. So I work with a lot of young people, especially young girls that are victims of like sexual exploitation, FGMs, the list goes on, county lines.
Okay. And you said you obviously come from a background where I feel like you will be good at this job. Could you tell us a little bit about it? Your background?
Okay. So
only what you want to.
Yeah.
Nerves going through already.
So my family background is a bit rough on the edges. I've got a lot of family members that were involved in a lot of county lines and stuff like that, and crime. While growing up around that environment, I tried to not get myself involved into it. But again, family is family, and
it's what you've been brought up with, right?
Exactly. There's times you'll be asked to do certain things, and you just have to do it. I think I was at the age of about 19, and I've just said to myself, I can't do it anymore. My dad, I grew up with going to prisons from a young age and visiting my dad, because my dad was in and out of prison from the age of 4, and he came out when I was 18.
So it was almost normal, that life for you, right?
Yeah, pretty much. So like when I speak to people and I tell them about my background, they're quite shocked. But to me, it's normal because I grew up.
Yeah, it's what you know.
It's what I know at the end of the day. And
what's amazing is what you've done from it. typically you should be going that way, but you never.
Yeah.
You chose that different path, and that is what is amazing about your story.
Exactly. And I feel like I want to help a lot of young people, especially girls that have similar stories, or even if they have a different story, I can still tell them my story and show them where I've become. So yeah.
And that's what makes you so good at your job, because like I was saying, it's not about a university degree, reading out of a book. This is life experience. And don't you think you're so much more relatable that you have your own story?
100%, because I feel that while working with young people, they're very closed at first.
Yeah.
Because they're thinking, okay, it's someone that's working with the system.
Yeah.
So they don't want to open up. They don't.
You're against them almost at the beginning.
You're against them. You just wanna bring them down, basically.
Yeah.
And then once you you tell them about your background and the things that you've been through and the stuff that you're doing now, it's like they're more open, and they want to learn more.
Yeah.
And they want to open up. And then there's times that they're closed and they don't want to open up at all. But you've just got to be persistent, because what a lot of them are used to is not having that consistency.
The consistency, yeah. You're not giving up on them, but they're used to just sort of pushing you out and then being given up on, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I find that it's a lot of young people that are in care as well.
Yeah.
So again, now working in a children's home and supported living, it's all children that are in care that I'm working with, and their stories, the stories that you hear and the things that they've been through, and it's like, how are you still surviving at such a young age?
Yeah.
And it's like you really just want to kind of just like say, come, let me take you.
Want to take them all home with you, I bet. Mother them.
Exactly that. And again, it boils down to even breakdown and like family breakdown as well. There's some young people I've worked with and they're still in contact with their family, but there's been such a family breakdown, whether it be in they don't have that motherly figure to look up to. Whereas majority of the young people I work with were quite close in age, because I'm only 27. Yeah. So I try and be a big sister to them, so they have that person to come to and feel comfortable to speak to as well. So yeah.
Are there any like top tips you give any women in danger that, you know, if they're in a situation and you're not there, is there any sort of top tips you give them to sort of help them or try and get them out of situations? Any of you?
Well, I always say to them, because a lot of them feel like there's a young person that I work with now, a part of the DBA project, and she always feels that she's going to be a burden if she calls me. And I always have to say to them, you're never going to be a burden. Yeah. I know where you are coming from. So if you feel that you need someone to talk to, whether it's 2 o'clock in the morning, if I don't answer my phone and you can't get me, just keep calling me. Yeah. Because I'm always going to be there.
That's amazing.
At the end of the day, because again, it's the consistency that they need and the consistency that they want. And because they're so used to people letting them down, they don't want to call. They don't. They feel like you're gonna. They've
been trained to think they're burdens for so long.
They've already got it in their head that you're gonna let them down.
You've got to now retrain that brain to actually believe in you. Yeah. But it's so hard when you're the only person to believe in. They've really got no one else. What do you think? Do you have the same experience as well, Tyler?
Definitely. So for me, that's why I kind of always keep an open dialogue every day. I'm messaging like, how are you? How was school today? How are you feeling today? How are things at home? So I never keep it to like a 1 hour a week or 3 hours a week. I keep it as an open dialogue. So like,
and consistency going.
Exactly. So I have my girls, they'll message me at like 11 o'clock at night just to have a conversation. I'm open to that conversation. I'm continuously making sure that I'm there for them. So it's very much like what Cheyenne was saying, in a sense of being that big sister. Do you know what I mean? Because the majority of like our girls is that family breakdown. Like for instance with me, mine was my family breakdown. Me and my mum never had a close relationship.
Yeah.
So I kind of was looking for other things to kind of have that bond there. Or for instance, when my mum and dad got divorced, like looking at an older guy for that kind of bond. Do you know what I mean? So
I think as well, it's such a big thing about your environment you've grown up in. I mean, like you girls are saying, I grew up with a life of criminality around me.
Yeah.
So parents and people being arrested never shocked me. That was just a normal Wednesday night thing. You'd go and stay at someone's house. And other people would find that completely shocking. And then when you get older and you see that other people don't have that life around you, then you start thinking, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, you're not like everyone else. But at one point, everyone around you was the same.
yeah,
So then
exactly.
you feel like you don't belong anywhere because of who you are or where you've come from. And I think it starts from such a young age as well. Sometimes if you don't have that mentor at any stage in life, you're never going to know what's right or what's wrong.
What's wrong? There was times while growing up, so like my dad, perfect example. So he's been in criminal activities from a young age, and like I said, he was in and out of prison. So he spent about 18 years in and out of prison, and he came out 10 years ago. Once he came out, he started working in prisons, going back into prisons and mentoring young people so they don't make the same decisions as him.
So it's never too late to change your life
It's
around.
never too late at all.
And how many, he done all them years and then he finally done that, and that just says it all, doesn't it?
Exactly. So like he went inside when I was 4 years old, came out when I was 9, came out for 2 weeks, went back in, got a 12-year stretch, done 9 years and came back out. And it got to a point, I feel like, again, it's children that actually save parents as well, because it got to a point that I actually said to my dad, look, I love you to bits, but it can't happen anymore. Like, you have to make a decision and you have to make a change.
Yeah.
And I feel like, not to boost my own head, but I feel like if I didn't make that decision to speak to my dad about, I don't think he would have made the right decision.
You should boost your own head. Your head should be actually like out of the window right now, because what you've done is absolutely amazing. You know, I think as well, I think we're quite hard on ourselves, us women, because we've had that life. So you're like, oh, you know, it's nothing, but it is. It's an amazing thing. You completely turned your life around. You've made a negative into a positive.
Yeah.
You know, you could have gone the really long way around it and then come back, but you never.
Yeah.
You skipped like 20 years of prison and then you just went straight to the good bit, which is amazing.
Yeah, even like, I'm going to tell you a story. And I honestly don't remember this, but I've always been a daddy's girl, but I honestly don't remember this. And my dad's always said that there was a time that we were in the car, I was young, and he had a firearm on him, and I took it from him and put it under my car seat.
Oh, darling.
And till this day, I honestly don't remember it.
That's the loyalty bred into you with your father.
Oh, she's always like that.
Yeah.
But I would never be ashamed of my story at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, it's made me who I am today.
And look at what you're doing now. If you hadn't had that experience, what would you be? You'd be a boring dinner lady or something. So you've got fire in your body. That's what we need.
This is where my story would be a little bit different. So
okay,
I kind of come from a similar background, but my family was situated in America first. So I was born over there, and then we came over here because of certain situations that my dad was in. But what happened was that, so we lived in North London, but my mum moved us out into Hertfordshire. So I think I was having a bit of an identity crisis, because my dad's always lived in London, but when I came back into London, I was completely different to my culture. So because I lived in Hertfordshire, I didn't speak like anyone down here, didn't dress like anyone down here. It was completely different. So it's I kind of wanted to,
like, where do I belong?
Exactly. I'm black, but what the other black girls were like, I wasn't like it at all.
Yeah. You didn't fit the stereotype.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was in, my mum, I was always in big designers from a very young age and things like that. So when I came down here, I kind of wanted to be like what my dad was like. I wanted to jump into the deep end type thing. So I got myself involved in sorry.
All right,
I got
we'll let you
myself
off. Don't
involved.
worry. We was at the good part of the story. Then I was like,
I got myself involved in a lot of like Class A stuff and driving to Southampton and things like that.
can I ask, was you being used or was you a leader?
I would have classed myself as a leader,
But
now being older, I was definitely taken advantage of because I wanted to fit into something and they could see
that's
that.
so key, isn't it? Because at the time you're made to feel so powerful.
Yeah,
You're like
definitely.
a lord almost.
Literally, like I was at a certain point. I was able to, like, I was giving one of my younger cousins £100 a week, and I was driving a big car, and I was out and
felt
about.
powerful, didn't you?
Oh, I was so powerful, and then
big woman.
Exactly. And then it got to a point where, like, and I was at uni whilst doing this. I wasn't just gallivanting.
But don't you think that makes you more dangerous because you've really got it under control?
You know, the best of both worlds.
You've got like a secret life going on.
Yeah,
literally.
But you turn up to uni dripping in Gucci, I bet.
Listen, I thought I was Griselda Blanco at one point.
Yeah. Yeah. So what stage did you get to before you were like, what the hell am I doing?
I got pregnant. So
right. Amazing what children do, isn't it?
Yeah. I was 23. So basically this is kind of all started. So basically from about 4 to 19, I did ballet all my life. Yeah. Right. I kind of got stuck into I don't know, I just took a turn. I think it was the breakdown with my mum and dad. I felt like maybe they didn't understand me, so I looked for people who did understand me.
Good. That's amazing though, isn't it?
Yeah, who I thought understood me, who wanted to do what I wanted to do and things like that. Yeah. And yeah, and I from about 19 until about 22, that was my life. I don't even think I even went to my mum's house. I was just out all the time. I cut communications with really good friends because I felt that I needed to reach a certain goal and things like that. And it's not until I got pregnant I said, nah, this isn't my life. Like,
I think pregnancy makes you look at your life different, doesn't it? Because now you're just responsible for someone else as well. So it sort of comes to that point, it's time to stop messing about, isn't it?
Yeah, and I feel like I always, regardless of what my background was, my mum always gave me good stability. Yeah. In the sense of I was kind of grounded. So at a certain point I thought to myself, no, this isn't for me. And
but mum's stability gave you that line where you know how to behave almost. But if you never had that mum stability, would you even know when to stop?
Exactly. And this is what I feel like I need to give the girls, like that stability, that sense of ground. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you had that person you could relate back to that knew how to steer you in the right way.
Exactly.
And now
but
you want to be that person.
Experience of going kind of off the rails type thing. I didn't have the same kind of mind that Cheyenne had at a young age of where, no, I can't do this type thing. Yeah. I was pushing. Yeah. So.
When you started your job, did you instantly know that this was for you?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And 100%. I think as a woman, I feel when you know something's right, you know something's right. Even that thought of knowing you want to help someone.
Yeah.
That sense of knowing you want to make that change.
Exactly.
And I think there's so many more women out there that are capable of doing that. They just don't know where to start.
Yeah.
I would say as well, I don't know if you'd agree, but I do think maybe if you weren't sure if it was for you, maybe a bit of volunteering somewhere might help to get a grasp on if it's for you. Because there is loads of places you can volunteer, right? And you can sort of get stuck in and sort of get a feel for the industry and what you could be doing.
But even
just to anyone watching now thinking they want to do it.
It's just not advertised. I wouldn't even know where to steer someone in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I also agree with that. And that's why I think like now we've been sort of trying to produce these courses, credit courses, to try and help people get started. Because like all of your experiences come from people that you know. When I just listen to your stories, you all got involved with it through someone, Dan, things like that. So it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I want us to be the who you know people for other people.
Yeah.
Can I ask you both a question? And I wanted to ask you both, what do you feel? Do you feel like at the moment, you know, for the young females and our women of today and our future, do you think there's enough support around them, around like the county lines, the CSE, all of we're talking about, Shine? Do you think?
No, I feel like it's more focused
support as well.
It's more focused on boys.
Yeah,
I feel like young girls are forgotten about, and especially with county lines, it's more focused on boys, and girls are being manipulated to join the county line industry. So prime example, Taylor's story, whereas she thought that she was the I'm going to say the kingpin,
yeah.
where she thought that she was the kingpin, it was someone that was above her that was actually manipulating her in order to come into it. Yeah. And again, because females are looked at as, the police are not going to pay them much attention because they're a female. So let's use that female at the end of the day. It's basically grooming.
Yeah, 1,000%.
It's grooming.
100%, yeah.
Because nowadays, what they will do, especially with county lines, they will go and find a chicken shop that's next to a secondary school and groom a young person, whether it's a boy or a girl. But
and they buy their way through almost as well, don't they?
Exactly.
They look at like weaknesses that you've got, like poverty, or your shoes are a bit busted up. And if they treat you to a new pair of trainers or that bit of chicken, you're in debt then, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think
for you.
As silly as it sounds, I think the best show that's brought that to light is Top Boy.
Yeah, but we need more like that, don't you believe? We need so much more like that, because it's a bit more true to heart.
Yeah. And
we watch so much. I mean, they glamorize it. Even when I watch women in films, she's like dripping head to toe, like in designer, and it's all like glam, like nice car and stuff. No one really shows the reality at the end. Because when that girl's arrested and her life's over, none of them boys from the chicken shop or whoever bought your trainer is going to come see you then.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And I feel like we need more women to support women, to educate more women, so all women know.
Yeah.
If we could split us up into every part of the world, I feel like so much less would happen. Yeah. Because if you knew what grooming was, because when it's happening to you, you don't know it's happening, right? How many girls do you work with and they tell you, no, I'm really special, like they love me?
Because people generalise grooming with sexual grooming, and it's not.
No.
That's what associates it with, don't they?
Exactly.
So I suppose you work with women on a daily basis that actually believe they are important and needed. Yeah. And how would you try and help them see that they're not, that you know, this is not what it seems?
You've just got to be 100% honest with them. And I always say that when I first start working with a young person, I always say to them, listen, I'm going to tell you exactly how it is. I'm not going to pussyfoot around it. I'm going to tell you exactly how it is. You may think that I'm being rude, but it's not me being rude. It's me telling you the truth. And the reason why I'm telling you the truth is because I care and I want to see a change at the end of the day. So if you don't like it, I'm sorry, tough. But someone needs to tell you at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I feel like that's so great, Shine, because at the end of the day, they're going to see the difference between grooming and caring. Do you know what I mean? So that's such
that is what it's about, education, isn't it?
Yeah.
Trying to show them that there is a difference and we are them people that they can trust and we do want to make that difference. And once you start working with someone, like I could tell when you're texting and stuff like that, there's no 9-to-5 job here, is there?
No.
It is a...
Daniel's like smiling because he knows what I'm about to say.
Tell me, girl.
Dan's smiling because he knows what I'm about to say. So there was a young person that I used to mentor, used to do outreach with, and she went through family breakdown. There was risk of exploitations and stuff like that. And she was such high risk that they were moving, social services were moving her completely out of the borough, out of London. So what they do is they just turn up to the children's home with the Serco. It was a Serco company, but it was literally just two guys that come and take her and put her in a car. So she was being told, she was woken up and was told that she's moving to Nottingham. And so she done the dash, obviously. I was oblivious to the whole situation. I was actually at work and she kept calling me. But because I was working in a school, I wasn't actually allowed to answer my phone. So because I saw that she was calling me numerous times, I said, no, I need to go and answer. So I've answered the phone. She says to me that they're moving me and I don't know what to do. So for the fact that she's actually reached out to someone and I was that person that she's reached out to, I've just had to say, I've got to go.
Yeah.
I've got to go. So I went and I met her at Brent Cross and she was with her friends and whatnot. And she wasn't making sense. She was just saying, I'm going to go. And I'm saying, where are you going to go to? Tell me, what is your plans? What are you going to do? You have no one there. You say you're going to stay with friends. Who are these friends? What are these friends doing for you at the end of the day? What have they brought to you now? She wasn't trying to hear what I was saying. So it got to a point, I remember it was around Christmas time. So because it was Christmas, obviously they had police walking up and down in Brent Cross and whatnot. And I know young people, police, no. And I never wanted to go down that route. But because when I was talking to her, she wasn't listening to what I was saying, I actually had to say to the police officer that was walking past, excuse me, this is a looked after child that's missing.
Right.
So obviously she thought, how could I sell her out like that?
Yeah.
She at first she wasn't seeing it that I was.
What a hard choice you had to make though.
And I was doing it.
I bet you was broken-hearted.
Intention.
Yeah.
And it got to a point that the police then said, we went to my car, went to the car park, sat in the car. The police then said that she's technically not missing because I know her and she's in safe arms. The police couldn't help us, couldn't help me. It got to a point that she was running on the A406.
Oh my God.
And I was chasing her on the A406, trying to get her to safety. I've called social services. Obviously, it's out of hours now. I've called social services.
You're on your own.
I'm on my own.
You're running down a motorway. Can it get any worse?
Exactly.
It's Christmas. You're probably freezing. You're panicking. I mean, can this get any worse? Jesus.
I've had to call my manager because obviously I need to keep them in the loop of what's going on.
Why are you running down the motorway?
I'm putting myself in danger. I don't want her to kill
Oh
herself.
my God.
Put herself in danger. Everything's in my hands. I'm thinking, Cheyenne, what the hell are you going to do?
Yeah, what am I doing right now?
Social services, they have their out of hours called EDT saying that they can't get anyone out to me to like another about 5-6 hours. At this point it's like 11 o'clock at night, and I've eventually able to get her into my car, and I've just literally just had to drive around with this girl until EDT are able to give me a call and say, yeah, someone's on their way. And it got to a point she was like, okay, she eventually said that I'm gonna go, but she wanted to see all her friends before she had gone. So then I had to make that decision. I'm not gonna be an arse at the end of the day. I know you're making a big move at the end of the day, so you can go and see your friends, but I'm coming.
You've got to meet me halfway.
Yeah. But then I'm putting myself at risk because I don't know who those friends are that she's meeting at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm sitting in a park in bloody Golders Green with a bunch of teenagers. And I'm just like, what do I do?
This is what you call dedication to a job, right? You need a medal or something.
I'm like, what do I do? And then it got to about 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Social services are still saying that they're waiting.
I bet you wanted to take her home, didn't you?
Truthfully, I had to make that decision. Yeah. And I did.
You did?
I did. I had to make that decision, and I took her home and I gave her something to eat, and I said, look, if you want to sleep in the living room. I just had to make sure that everyone that was in the house just don't go in there, because again, I have to protect myself, I have to protect my family, and everything else. And eventually EDT turned up to my house and took her to Nottingham, and I'm so grateful because I thought that was going to be the end of our outreach, but I was still able to go and do outreach with her. And I was doing outreach, I was going up to Nottingham once a month and seeing her, and the change that was in her was so great. She wasn't missing all the time. her missing episode had
She needed it. She just didn't know she needed it.
Yeah, her missing episode had completely reduced. There was no missing episodes whatsoever. She got herself onto a college course as well, even though she was under 16. They were still able to get her onto a course, so she was in some form of education, because she never used to like education whatsoever. Until this day, I'm always proud of that story.
I'm proud of you, and I don't even know you that well, but you are amazing. Like, honestly, hats off. I can't take my hat off, it's too tight, but hats off. Honestly, you're amazing. And I mean, if that story don't inspire people, like, I don't know what words.
Yeah.
But it just shows you have to go in with heart into this job, because you
And
were on your own there as well.
I used to say to Cheyenne all the time, "Oh, you're too involved. What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Very involved, didn't you too?
But you know what? If she wasn't too involved, then
there wouldn't be any change.
No, there wouldn't. And sometimes you have to make that sacrifice to really create a change. And the reward out of what you did was so much bigger and amazing. Do you know what I mean? You made a difference in that woman's life, and she'll probably be forever grateful to you, because you steered her from that path she was about to go down. Yeah. And that is exactly the point of your job. You did it. Yeah, that's amazing.
It's quite funny because the children's home that she was in, I ended up working at that children's home. And one day she turned up there, and I opened the door and she saw me, and she was shocked as hell.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And she always said to me, "Cheyenne, thank you." And you know what? When she said that, I felt, I don't know, that feeling. I've never had that feeling before. Complete. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly. And
Stein, I just read here, look, someone wrote, I was in a care home where Cheyenne was working, and it was terrible. Without Cheyenne, I don't know how I would have survived. See how amazing you are.
Can someone get this girl an award, please?
Honestly, if I had Blue Peter badges, medals, I'd be sending them all to you right now.
And can I just say something? To everybody that's listening in and watching in right now, this is what we're trying to do between the DBA Project, the AP Foundation, Mixed Foundation. We're out here to trying to create change. We're trying to give you real life stories about what we're doing out here. Okay, this ain't no bullshit anymore. This is something that we're trying to change. We're trying to change the society. We're trying to change our young people. And we felt it was just appropriate to have a female day today, to have some of our workers throughout our companies that work with us. You know, and just so everybody understands, this is not just a male-dominated AP Foundation, Mixed Foundation, DBA Project. We're here for everybody, no matter what male, female, creed, culture, whatever.
We just want to shine as many topics as we can every week, right, Dan?
Want to support, and just want to say thank you to both Taylor and Cheyenne for coming on here today, and just thank you for all the great work you guys are doing, and just keep up doing what you're doing, because you're amazing.
You're amazing, and I hope in future that I get to work with you guys, and I can hear some more stories.
Only if you get me that hat.
The hat's yours, babe. You'll have to get it off my head first, though. It might have a little bit of orange inside, but don't worry, I've ordered you one. You can have a jumper, everything. Girls, thank you so much for joining us today. I just think it's absolutely amazing, and I just hope that we've been able to spread that message a bit more and just make people more aware of, you know, there's so much more to cover in all these situations, and the more help we've got, the more help we can give to other people, right?
Exactly.
I wish you all the luck, and I hope that I'm going to be seeing you guys real soon.
Definitely.
Thank you, ladies, for coming on today. I'll let you get on with your day. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, Dan, I'm going to be bringing on Mixed Foundations now.
Cool.
Okay.
Is there anybody called Silky Smooth in there as well? Because that was the lady who was going to jump on with Francis last week, who has created the show.
I've invited both.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. We're on. That was amazing, that chat.
Good, isn't it?
So inspiring, honestly.
That is my people.
Oh.
Silky Smooth.
Hi, I'm just so glad it worked this time, because we struggled last time, didn't we?
Welcome, we've missed you. I'm glad to meet you. I'm Vicky. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Vicky. My name's Sylvia.
Lovely.
And oh, thank you.
Looking very glad.
I'm a bit nervous. I'm a bit shy and a bit nervous, but I know I have.
A bit nervous. Don't worry. You look amazing.
but I know I have to do this because it's not about me. It's about what we're doing and keep doing and what we're trying to achieve out here.
That is amazing. Can you tell me how you got into your job?
All right. So my parents split up when I was about 11. And then I'm from Hackney. I was born and bred in Hackney.
Whoop, whoop, I'm a Hackney girl.
Are you Hackney?
I'm a Hackney girl. Born and bred Hoxton.
No way. What part?
Hoxton.
Hoxton.
Hoxton girl.
Shut up. Well, I went Haggerston when it was called Haggerston, and we used to go down Hoxton a lot.
That's
but,
it. It's my sister.
So I grew up. What's your? Yeah, there you go, innit? There you go. So basically, I grew up in Hackney. I grew up on Sandringham Road, yeah. And Sandringham Road back then was a front line. And so growing up from the age of 11, from birth to 11, my parents split up at 11. My mum moved out and I was living with my dad. My dad used to work all hours. So I had the freedom to go out and mix with people. So I used to hang around with a group of girls. We used to go south. We used to go all over Chocodero. We used to go out and get into trouble, mate. So that's how it all started for me. When I hit about 16, I got kicked out of school when I was 13, went to a centre around 14. Time I got to 16, 17, I started experimenting with drugs, all type of drugs. And I went through a journey of being addicted to certain drugs. I'm not going to go too deep. And then I hit a wall, basically. I hit a massive wall where I had to sit down for a couple of years. Yeah. So then after that, when I came out, it was like, for me, it was like, wow. It was a horrible, like my teenage years, I went through a lot. I just didn't want to be about that life, innit? So when I came out, I got into theatre. I went drama school. I don't even know about Clean Break. I went Clean Break. From Clean Break, I managed to go to a drama school called Central. Yeah. One of the biggest drama schools in drama. Yeah. So from when I hit drama school, I done a degree in applied drama and theatre and education. So when I graduated, that was a whole nother story as well. But once I graduated and came out, I started working with the Battersea Arts Theatre Company. I started working for the National Youth Theatre Company, but we was doing theatre and education. So I was working in prisons. I was working with young people. So when I go back to Feltham, when I was working with the young boys in Feltham, around that time, and it still ain't changed, there was a lot of knife crime going on around that time. So all those newspapers articles that this boy got stabbed, that boy 18, 19, those were the boys that I was working with in Feltham, those that were kind of convicted for murdering. And it really kind of touched me, because it's like, I feel like the system is set up to fail us anyway. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's really hard growing up in an inner city area where you're exposed to X, Y, Z. So if you ain't coming from a strong family background to hold you down, you're jumping through hoops. Yeah. You're jumping through hoop to hoop, and life will wear you down. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So you're gonna hit a wall, and a lot of young people will hit that wall and not come out of it. That's it. They've thrown their lives away. Bam! In the blink of an eye.
That's all they know, right?
In a split second of rage, that's it. Yeah. They've gone. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You're sitting down doing life, and then you're thinking, amount of boys, when I spoke to them, because this is why I'm into theatre and I'm into drama and I'm into films, because it was so therapeutic for me, because you explore so much issues, you know. And a lot of them young boys, they all regret it, but it's too late. You're doing life. There's no coming back. You've destroyed someone else's family by taking away their son. You've destroyed your family because now you're sitting down in jail for life. And now your parents have to come. Ripple effect. Do you know what I mean? And then a lot of these kids are fathers at such a young age. So their kids haven't got their dad. Do you know what I mean? So like you said, it's the ripple effect. So when I went drama school, I started doing theatre in education. Then I set up my company called Hard Knot Productions. So I've got a company called Hard Knot Productions, and I managed to start getting funding and started working with inner city young kids. And within our projects, we'd explore issues like mental health. I've done a major project on mental health, which was so amazing. That was performed at the Lillian Bailiffs, and we got the mayor down and key people down to watch, because a lot of young people are suffering from mental health. What is the trigger?
Already that awareness you're raising, amazing.
What's the trigger? You've got people that smoke weed. Do you know what I mean? You got people that's in that, you know, in relationship breakdowns, you know, people in care. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's depression. A lot of young, even up to adults, all of us have experienced some sort of mental health trauma in our lives. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And we're just one step away from depression. Yes. Do you know what I mean? 1 in 4 people suffer from mental health. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. And especially living in such a pressured society now, like the pressure is on.
Yeah, there's no one specially selected. It could happen to any one of us.
Exactly. So that was a really major project that I done, which I was really proud of. And then my other one was a knife crime project where I worked with Dominic Taylor's dad. Richard Taylor came on board, came and talked to the kids. Do you know what I mean? Because how I set up my program is like, it's a process. We look at the issues, we look at what triggers these issues, what is the backstory behind those issues, so young people take ownership of what they're working on. That's my objective, and through that it builds confidence, it educates them, it brings awareness, and then it empowers them, and then they get to perform their work. Yeah. You know, so I went through a process.
Well, through the drama, when they're performing their work, it's so good to sort of get it out your system, isn't it? Because you get to sort of play it out without anyone knowing what you're doing.
Exactly, and that's why I say it's therapeutic. Yeah, honestly, and you can be anyone. You can be anyone behind that character,
just and be someone else for a little while. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, and express yourself. You know. Yeah. So and then the explosion of social media came in. Like, I've just seen people getting up and doing their own thing, and I thought, wow, this is really a powerful tool, you know, this social media, YouTube, all of that. So anyway, I wrote a script. Them times funding was scarce again, so I kind of left that to the theatre. I was in there, I was doing theatre for about 6 years. Then I put that to the back burner. I kind of took a break. And then when I came back, I wrote a script called Fool's Paradise. Okay. And I started off with a pilot project, 3 episodes. And basically it was about this guy who basically went to jail, came out, met this woman. This is the backstory of him. Had a kid, turned his life around, but his partner died. And his partner was dying. Her mum took the child and wanted to get custody of that child. So it follows the character of this guy called Darren, who's trying to get his daughter back. But his best friend sells drugs. He's still in the game. So he goes round to vent to his best friend about his issues, and the door gets licked off, and the best friend gets robbed of drugs. And then it kind of catapults him in the game. So it's him trying to get his daughter back, but the obstacles that
in the way
are really on the way to get his daughter back. So then it looks at, it covers certain issues in
why he's on that mission. You're covering so many other issues as well, I imagine.
There we go. Yeah, hit the nail right on the spot. So yeah, and then and this is my best project to date. Do you know what I mean? It was self-funded. I funded this project myself. Season 1 was the pilot, 3 episodes.
The guy who was that is at Fool's Paradise, correct? So I just want people to know your page while you're here.
You're right.
So if you go to my YouTube channel is Hard Knot Productions.
Yeah.
So on my YouTube channel, Hard Knot Productions, and Fool's Paradise, the web series is on there.
Wicked. I just want everyone to know that, so they'll be able to see what you're doing and how powerful you are doing this.
Yeah, and this is where I'm at, basically. It's been out a couple of weeks. There were 7 episodes to season 2. For the season 1, you know, went through some lessons learned, but season 2 is dope.
Yeah.
Dope.
And you're loving what you're doing.
Dope. And I'm loving what I'm doing and
Amazing.
growing. Well, just growing. Like, I've done so much, you know, mentoring work. I've worked with so much organizations, etc. But it's scary out here.
Well,
we
need more women to support more women. I know obviously men need as much support, but I think women sometimes slip through the net. I don't think it's as much of a high topic with women as it is as men.
Big time.
Yeah.
Women are emotionally, sexually, mentally, physically abused all the time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We don't get a look in, mate.
And this is what I mean. I just want to raise as much awareness as we can, just to, even any other women that are watching today, they're not alone. There are women out there that want to help you. There's so many projects you can get involved in to turn your life into a positive. A lot more that was available than when we were younger girls on street.
Definitely, you know? Definitely. And like I said, you know, they've got the internet. We didn't have the internet like that.
And I think that's a positive and a negative now, isn't it, the internet?
Yeah, it's both. Yeah, it's both. Negative and positive. It's definitely both. What can you do? Do you know what I mean? And this is what, and I feel like it's, to be honest, I feel like it's even tougher now to be a teenager. It is. To be honest.
The pressure.
Because, and I feel like...
Do you remember we could all just sort of dress how we wanted as kids? Now it's like 30-year-olds in Gucci.
Tracksuits, trainers. Do you know what I mean? It was all about Nike and Adidas.
Yeah, it wasn't as hard to compete.
It was simple. Yeah, it was, you know, it was always about the Nike trainers or the Adidas tracksuit or jeans, Levi's, and that was it.
Yeah, now.
But now, couture, darling. We're talking couture.
Being a parent is going to cost me a bloody bomb. I know that.
And I just feel like we was allowed to make mistakes, not under the glaring eye of cameras.
And cameras, yeah.
Now we're being, they're being filmed.
And I think it's easier to set negative trends now with the internet. You know, it's so much easier, isn't it, to start off a trend of a negative, a negative action or, you know, a certain behaviour.
And everything is like instant gratification now as well.
Yeah.
There's no kind of building a life. No, I can have that. I can go to my all fans page and make $500,000 in 6 hours by showing a bit of boobs and whatever and being sexual.
I'd probably owe them money if I'd done that.
Honestly, it's just crazy. It's crazy.
I just think it's a lot easier to steer off in a negative route. But then also with the positive side of it, you've got people like us that's here now, and we want to make that difference. We want to use the social media on a positive, you know. I don't want
and that's it.
Generation struggling like we did or our family have done.
That's it. And that's the beauty of it. And that's the beauty of what I reference. Like anything I touch, it's got to be about informing the community. You know, it's about social change for me. Everything's got to be about social change and positivity.
So in this chat, who are you connected with? Is it Dan and Simon?
So she was connected with me from last week.
Dan, we interviewed Francis.
Yeah. Okay, I got ya.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So Francis knew my little sister.
Got ya. I was just trying to work the connection out there. But that's what I mean. Even the smallest connection is still an amazing connection, isn't it?
Yeah.
More movement.
So Francis was one of the actors in my film.
It's amazing, isn't it? And then from that, you've managed to make this connection. I just think them positive moves you're making and making positive changes in the long run.
For real.
That is amazing. Can I just thank you so much for today? You've been absolutely amazing. I love the way you're honest. One of my own girls. I love that. Thank you so much.
I know.
I hope I get to meet with you soon. I really do.
Definitely. Thank you for having me. Thank you, guys.
I hope everyone follows your page, goes onto your YouTube.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're amazing.
Thank you very much.
I hope you have a great day.
And Easter week.
You too. Happy Good Friday.
Happy Good Friday.
Blessed Easter. Blessed.
Take care. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
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 Hi, Simon.
Hi guys. How are you?
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Where's your week?
I was
You know the rules, Simon.
Yeah, I wasn't going to come on today because obviously I know that's a women's show, so I was
I
going to
thought
leave
you
it
was
to
late because you was plaiting your hair.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
not today, not today. So I was going to leave it to the women, but obviously you invited me in, so it'd be rude
I
not
wanted to. You're an important part of us,
Yeah.
so I think it's important that you're here. You work with women yourself, so
Of course.
I think your opinion is also so valuable.
I'd just like to say it's really good. I'm really empowered to hear, obviously, some of our mentors who work for the DBA Project, Taylor and Cheyenne, and obviously Silky Smooth has just been on. Stories of life transformation. I love it. And I think that we need more females in the sector because there's lots of us guys doing what we're doing with young boys and that, but we're not necessarily seeing what's happening with the women.
Yeah.
So for these women to highlight some of these stories and some of these issues, we need to go on a recruitment drive to get these kind of women to strengthen what we're doing as guys. So it's been really empowering for me anyway.
I think it's amazing. I think we can slowly build a little army, and I love
Yeah,
the way we can
empire.
all come together. But I think you need a little balance of each.
Of course.
I thought it was going to be me with 30 men forever, so there's a bit of faith. I've got some girls.
Yeah, no.
And it's
No.
lovely to see, like we said, we cover so many topics. I think sometimes some topics can slip through the net. And
Of
it's not that
course.
any topic's more important than the other. It's just good to highlight it as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And what we're talking a lot about county lines at the moment because that's where everything's going. And we're in a meeting the other day, myself and Dan and Andy, and we were talking about the similarities between CCE, child criminal exploitation, and CSE, child sexual exploitation. There's a lot of similarities, even with the boys. And we were talking about things as crude as when the elders are making the youths go down on county lines, they're making them stick parcels inside the self. So, you know, that's bordering on the lines of sexual exploitation.
Wow.
You plug in parcels of crack and cocaine, crack and heroin, you know? So there's a lot of similarities. So across the board, between us all, I think we can tackle all these issues, but we need the females on board as well, you know?
Yeah, and I think the more of us, the more education, the more we can help.
Of course, and that's the key word there as well, Vicky. You mentioned education. There's a lot of lack of education. So we need to be educating in the work that we're doing.
And the only way we're going to be educated is by talking to each other.
Of course.
Going out there in the real world, seeing it for what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, obviously, we're all locked down. We're doing the best we can. But the minute that gate is let open, we're running for the hills. And we're
Hit the
going to
ground
make
running.
that hands-on difference.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. And we need to educate the people who don't understand as well. Because, again, we were talking about, we come from the ends, you know, we work with the people from the ends. We know what's going off. We know what time it is. But your older middle-class decision makers, oh, this is another problem with youths from, you know, this area. They don't understand what's going on. So we need to educate the decision makers in what's going on so they can, you know, get hold of this and start to support us to support them.
I think as well, educating stops judging as much because I think a lot of people, when they don't know, like you'll see a group of kids in the park doing something, say vandalising, and a middle-class man would walk past and he would judge them. He would say negative things. I would walk past and say, well, I wonder why they need to behave like that. I wonder why they're here, why they're doing that. So it's how you look at things, isn't it? And I think the more we can educate people, the more we can stop that judging, that stereotyping, you know, and I think people that push them stereotypes, that's how we end up with a gang of boys and stuff like that. We need people to understand, not judge.
Of course. When I was first mentored and I came from my life of crime and my background, the guy came with I always remember this, a non-judgmental approach. So I always put that in anything that I'm putting out there, proposals or that, we use a non-judgmental approach. So we care about the person and not the crimes that they've committed. And that's where you're supposed to start. That's the difference in how we start supporting someone. Hi, mate, what do you like? Do you like football? Do you like rapping? Not right. You've been done for this. You've been done for that. You've been with yacht for 2 years. We come with a non-judgmental approach, which allows them to know that you care. And I think that's key.
And I think that's amazing because you're not going to solve nothing in life by you know, just judging them and reminding them of what they've done in the first place.
No.
I'm going to let Boss out of the cupboard for a minute, guys.
Okay.
Sorry.
Guys,
All right, Andy.
I've
How we
finally
doing?
arrived.
Yes, Andy.
Amazing show today. Some incredibly inspirational women today on the show. Some of the things I've heard, honestly, I'm just, you know, filled with pride that, you know, women are taking such a big, you know, a positive role in this fight, you know. And what's been brought up today, I said county lines especially, and I think a lot of people need to realise, you know, you got, you know, upper middle class England sitting there having their, you know, dinner parties, and they think it's, you know, cool to go and, you know, get a couple of grams of Charlie to finish the night off. Well, you need to think about that when you do that, and think about kids are going out and being put on county lines to feed those habits. Okay, you know, kids are basically, you know, are putting their lives every single day in the hands of elders that are grooming them, you know, and all because, you know, selfishness. You know, people just do things and you don't look down and think about, you know, who you're actually affected in that chain, and everyone gets affected, you know. So people need to wake up to the reality of this. You know, this whole thing affects everybody. And as I said, you know, a lot of young girls are brought into this thing and it goes unnoticed. And the reality is having strong women to kind of, you know, to guide them and help them out of those situations is so important and imperative. So amazing show today, guys. My hat's off to everyone who's taken part in it. And I think you're all amazing, you know.
Guys, thank you so much. What a great set. Well, another great Friday Live as usual.
Yeah.
And just one more tip as well. We've got a course which has been developed called Womanhood. So hopefully we're putting that online, and we'll be taking that out in the community as well. So any young women who, you know, have got, you know, issues like that, or even looking to become mentors, it's a course I suggest you, you know, look up on our website, AP Foundation. You can go into the applications, you can go into the rehabilitation courses, and you'll find it right there.
If you just keep an eye out on our page, there'll be more updates coming today and through the week about the course, and lots are going to be delivered about what we've covered today, situations, how to become a mentor. We're going to be covering absolutely everything. So if there's anything today that's interested you, we've got a course for you. So all you've got to do is just keep your eye out for the AP Foundation page, Mixed Foundations, DBA Projects, and we're going to have courses coming to you. Then once we're out of lockdown, we're going to take over, right, guys?
100%, we're on it.
Guys,
We're
we're on
ready.
a movement right now.
We are not giving up.
We're changing the game.
We're changing the game, and we're not leaving till the game has changed.
100%.
Until we've got the winning numbers.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Turning the tide.
Guys, keep an eye out for AP Foundation's YouTube page.
Yep. Also, APF Media. There's lots of stuff on there going on every day. Answers and questions and stuff to all the questions that were asked on the James English interview. I'll be answering those questions. All the stuff that was asked on the Marvin Herbert interview as well. Just throw your questions in. I'll happily answer anything.
Contact us anytime. We're here.
Feel
That's what we're
free
here
to.
for. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. Have a great
Happy Easter,
Easter.
everybody.
Have a
Have
great
a great
week.
Easter.
Happy
Have a
Good
wonderful
Friday.
Easter. Happy Good Friday.
Don't eat too
And
much
have a
chocolate.
Great Easter, guys.
Blessings.
Thank you.
Take care. God
Take
bless.
care,
Love,
guys.
love, love,
Bye.
love,
Bye-bye.
love.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.